I did want to talk about these Ace Trainer rewards because it seems to be like the hot thing right now. And I was actually a champion for this a while ago. When they first announced it, believe at the beginning of the 2025 season, when they announced all the changes, they did say that something like this was coming, and a lot of people started speculating, obviously. I really was like hoping that this would be something that would actually come to fruition, and I was a little upset that they didn't talk about it for a while, because they were like, hey, this is gonna maybe come later, stay tuned, and then we never heard of it again. So I did take a look already, but I do want to talk about it. So for those who don't know, obviously as you compete in Pokemon events, as you place, you get championship points, or CP for short. And previously that CP was only used to go to Worlds and for travel awards, but you never really got anything like physical out of it. And I felt like when they made the change to qualify for Worlds, which previously you just had to hit a certain CP bar. So let's say the bar was 700. As long as you hit 700 points for the season, you automatically got an invite. Now it's, by region. So top 175 or top 100 per region gets invited. So now it's a lot harder for people, and people don't want to grind out the CP now unless, they're actually making a Worlds run. So essentially, if you don't hit top 100 in your region or whatever, you're just, you have wasted points. So there really isn't anything for people who don't make Worlds, or people who maybe aren't necessarily trying to get to Worlds, but just want to go and have fun at a local league, maybe try to just get some local placements at a cup or a challenge. There's no real incentive other than, hey, cool, I won like a couple of packs, or I want a plushie. So I was always like really pushing to have something, at least a physical reward for both TCG and VGC. So now that this got announced, I'm actually really happy. I'll be honest, I'm one of those players where I'm never going to make it to Worlds for two reasons. One, I'm not good enough. And two, I just don't have the drive to get good enough. I recognize that. So that's why I produce things, because I am not good at the game and I don't have time to grind. That being said, let's take a look at this, because I think this will be a really good thing for newer players, especially something to aspire towards. So says last June, they announced that this was going to happen, blah, blah, blah. We know that this is a new qualification. Today, the new program is being unveiled, complete with details for the 2025 season Ace Trainer Rewards. So the Ace Trainer Rewards program celebrates players who participate in tournaments in CP earning regions. So I think that's basically everything outside of Japan, and operates on a CP threshold, meaning that there is no limit to the number of players who could earn rewards. This is how it previously was for Worlds invites. For the 2025 season, these rewards include a Play Pokemon stamped celebratory fanfare, a Pokemon TCG promo card previously exclusive to Asia, with an exclusive deck card or deck box and card sleeves in live. So this makes me really excited, because I think getting a physical reward for attending league, attending these local cups and challenges is actually like a big deal, and it'll get more collectors into the game as well. Celebratory fanfare has been awarded as a promo card to trainers in Asia since 2021, often featuring unique artwork that celebrates the spirit of the season. Here's a look at the past ones. Okay, cool. So here's an example of what they could look like. I mean, they're really, really unique art. I really like this. It's different from what we normally get. I mean, as far as I know, these cards aren't even really playable. I don't know if they're like legally playable or if they're just bad. I don't even know what they do. It doesn't matter though. I don't need to have a card that's legally playable. Like, I don't need to have like a stamped Iono to be happy. This is something that I would grind out local challenges for, just to get these cards in my collection behind me. I would love to do that. It says here that Pokemon TCG, VGC, and Go players can earn Ace Trainer status by earning 200 CP, and a setup where Pokemon Unite teams will get it as well. So I just want to check something. Let's see, Pokemon 2025 competitive circuit. I want to see how many local things you'd need to do to get this CP. It looks like, well, let's just go through each of these. So for a league challenge and a league cup, if you place first, you get 15 challenge points. If you place first in a league challenge, you get 15 CP points. If you place first in a cup, you get 50. So if you need to hit 200, that means you need to first place 4 league cups, or get a mix of some league cups and challenges. So that is still kind of a grind, to be honest. In a local area, getting your league cup wins, I mean, like, for example, for me in New York, I mean, we have some of the best players in New York, so trying to go to a cup and getting first place is actually kind of difficult if any of the good players show up. So like, for example, the last cup I went to, it was me, Tom Hayden, Tim Edwards, Anthony Vola, who's a TO in the area, and then we had another local player, Brian, who's very good. It's like, I'm not getting ACP there, right? Like, I think my only win there was I got a bye. I don't know if I'm even going to be able to qualify for this, but you know what? It feels obtainable. It doesn't feel like totally out of like the realm of possibilities that I could get the CP. I mean, if I just go to one regional and I'm actually not entirely sure how it works for regionals. Let's open up that link. CP. Okay, so obviously these are probably out of the realm of me doing anything. I would like to think that at least if I could win 1 or 2 matches, I could get at least 20 points, which kind of equates to winning a league challenge. I think that's possible, right? Let's look at the global challenge as well, just to get an idea of like how many points I would need. Okay, I don't think I would be able to get this as your average player, but again, this is obtainable. This is not out of the realm of possibilities for a lot of average level players. And it's a best finish limit of 3. So you have to think about that too, right? It's like you can keep grinding these out and get a BFL like 3 times in this 20 bracket and get 60. Let's look at something like this, because I don't think VGC specifically is going to get this many players. For a regional, it's close, you know, like it's close, but this is just a lot. Like, I think this is a lot more obtainable. But then again, you'd still have to be in the top half to be able to get 40 points. So for a player like me, I have some grinding to do that. But this is something where like I now have a semi-obtainable goal that I could work towards that's not Worlds. And I think that's very important for the average player to be able to have something that they could work towards, get a tangible reward, and still feel like the season has some meaning. So if you get average players like myself, whose aspiration is not to get to Worlds, maybe I'll go as a spectator, but I'm not going to compete. I have something I can work towards, and I think this is a very good stepping stone, or not stepping stone, but starting point, I should say. I think this is a very good starting point for a system like this. I just want to look at internets really quick as well. I don't plan on going to any internets this year, but next year I'm definitely, depending on how certain life events go, I am heavily considering going to NAIC next year with my boyfriend. I think NAIC is going to hit 1025. I think that's very, very doable. So if you place in the top half, you're getting 80 points. I mean, that's a lot. Although this competition's a lot more difficult than a regional. You know, you have an international. It's a huge event. So I definitely think that if you're able to at least attend all these events and do better than half of the people there, getting this 200 CP threshold is really not too bad. Last thing I want to talk about regarding this is where to go from here. So like I said, this is an amazing starting point. What I would like to see is an online store. So I don't know, maybe this is some copium, hopium, whatever you want to call it. If we're going to go do the threshold where 200 CP, you get this. 400 CP, you get this. That's fine. Or you could have like a store. So you could spend 20 CP and get a pin. I mean, it would probably be a lot more than 20 CP. Let's say 100 CP to get a pin, or maybe an exclusive card. That kind of thing, I think would be really, really cool at the end of a season. So once the points are like done, locked in, you're going to Worlds, then you could spend those CP at the end of the season and get what you want. I think that'll also entice people to spend the entire season and not just like grind out the first 2 months, get 100 CP, buy a pin, and not go to any more events. I think that would be really, really cool. And then whatever points aren't spent by the end of the year, well, you know, it gets reset. I'd really like to see some exclusive stuff in here, especially for VG. I think a lot of these rewards seem to be physical, like cards, which I think is fine, to be clear, especially TCG players, and some VG players I think would enjoy it, but there has to be some sort of code or something that maybe a future generation of Pokemon can get. Dude, I was talking to somebody about this. I would love, 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 love to see those reset mochis, the white mochis, put that behind a code and like give 3 out to anybody that attends a challenge or a cup. Like, do you know how many more people would show up just to get 3 mochi or 5 mochi so that they don't have to grind Ogre Oustin? Like, I would do that, dude. I would pay $15 to go 0-4 and just get 3 reset mochis. Like, am I wrong there? Does anybody else agree with me? I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of potential. You can even get cosmetics. Spend your CP on cosmetics too. If you don't want to give out codes for attending an event, I mean, let VG players get something that customizes their own experience. I don't know what's so difficult about that. I feel like there's a lot of untapped potential for VG. And I think the fact that VG has grown so much over the last few years, they're going to start giving it more attention. I personally think that VG has the ability to one day surpass TCG. I don't think that's in the next year or two, but I think it has the potential. But yeah, I think that's all I had to say about the Ace Trainer stuff. I mean, to sum it all up, I think this is an amazing change, and I could see myself pushing to get better just to unlock the CP rewards every year instead of going for that World's Invite. I think this gives a lot of players something new that they could work towards to get something tangible for their time. And then it feels a little exclusive. I think it's really important to have something that's a little exclusive. So, you know, you could show it off and be like, oh yeah, like for the last 5 years, I've been competing. And even though I haven't gotten to Worlds, like I've played, I'm part of this community. I have something to bond over and collect. And there's a lot of collectors in Pokemon. You got to catch them all. A lot of TCG players also, they compete and they collect. So I think this is just an amazing thing. And I would love to see where it goes from here.